welcome to another episode. I am your host, WIZE, and today my guest has an awe-inspiring story. Um, their life journey from a factory worker to a global leader in startups and AI is nothing short but extraordinary. Welcome to the show, Manuj Aggarwal.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to be
Oh,
here.
thank you. Pleasure is all mine, man. Because AI is something that I use a lot. I use Chat GBT. I use Cast Magic to help with my podcast and other shows that I do. So I'm very interested in what you have to say and but let's start with your journey, the beginning of the journey where you started work as a factory worker. Let's start with that story.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I grew up in India, and this was about 30 years ago when India was a developing country, very much a developing country. And growing up in a small town in India, you have to basically, figure out where your life is going to fit because there are not a lot of opportunities, not a lot of higher education institutions where I lived in my town. So basically, the idea was to do whatever was available. Um, and For me, it was working in a factory. And that's when, I used to work like fairly long hours, like 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. But that hard work and hard life gave me the motivation to figure out, okay, how can I improve my life? What can I do to create value in the world? And basically just get out of that situation of being a factory worker and move on to bigger and better things.
Okay. All right. So education technology is something that's very important to you. You got a special mention from President Obama and Bill Gates. What was the project and how has it the impact the field of education?
See, so a lot is happening in education. Our education system was designed at the start of industrial revolution, like almost 100 years ago, where people realize that everybody needs to have a specific qualification in math, physics, whatever the topics are, to be able to run the organizations, the factories, the companies that we are generating. But now things are changing, as you can see. Like even prestigious institutions like Harvard and MIT and all of those, they have opened up their curriculum for free for people. So in this environment, everybody can learn anything they want. But now comes the point where we start to think, okay, what are your interests? Are you really interested in engineering, or you are just going taking these courses because somebody said that engineering is a good field? So our work was to personalize education using AI for people. Meaning, the first thing was personalized curriculums, because everybody in the classroom today, in a traditional classroom, gets the same curriculum. But we know that some students are further ahead from others, and other students need a little bit help. They are not as up to date on a topic. So this AI will assess what level of the student is at, and then if the student needs more help, they will be given more material to read. And if they are expert at that, they can skip ahead in front of the other students. So this was one. The second one was, a lot of students drop out of their degree programs in the first 2 years. So we used AI to match the students with the right courses so that they find the courses interesting and easy enough to finish. So these are the two projects that we did in education using AI, which really helped students get better at learning.
So you're recognized as one of the leaders in AI. How has your expertise in AI evolved over the years, and what excites you the most about its future?
See, AI is still quite early, but a lot of people don't realize that the actual base work on AI was done. It started back in the 60s and 70s. So AI has gone through a lot of changes already. Um, what has happened? What really sort of created explosion in AI. The first step was cloud computing. So cloud computing is a way for anybody to rent a computing capacity through Microsoft and AWS, Amazon, um, and pay like maybe like $50 a month. And now I can rent a very powerful computer for $50 a month. Whereas earlier, I would have had to invest like $10,000, buy that computer, set it up, and then run these AI algorithms. So that's one thing that happened around 2005. Second thing that happened was smartphones started to come out. So everybody started to produce more and more data, because data is the raw material for AI. So think about a car. If you don't put fuel in the car is not going to go. It's the same thing with cloud computing and data. So when you combine these two things, these are the raw materials that go into building more complex AI algorithms. So when these things were combined, AI started to experience a huge hockey stick growth. But it was still only used by people who understood technology, who understood how it can be used, who had the investments to utilize these technologies. But then what happened in 2022, in November 2022, Chat GPT was released. So with that, now AI was available to everyone. So you didn't need a lot of investment. You didn't need like a computer science degree or technical background. Now everybody can use AI. So that is another hockey stick growth, right? So moving forward, I think what will happen is we will start to see personalized AI. So uh, AI for doctors, AI for engineers, AI for lawyers, AI for accountants, AI for countries. So it will be like, oh, this is Indian AI, this is like US AI. So the idea will be to personalize our culture, our knowledge, and then use that alongside AI to create more and more impact.
So of course, a lot of people are skeptical about AI because of movies and everything they've seen that like the Terminator and all this stuff where Skynet took over the world. And so of course, but then also people talk about how AI has affected a lot of industries because now people are using AI to basically do their jobs better. And
Exactly.
people feel oh, like this is a disadvantage for everyone else. But I look at it as this way: is like anything else. It's things that you need to learn to gain skills and improve on what you're doing. Like I use ChatGPT and Cast Magic to help me with my podcast. It doesn't produce the whole show for me, but it helps me, gives me structure on how I set up my show. Cast
Mhm,
Magic helps me. I upload my MP3.
mhm,
It
mhm,
it comes out with a introduction to the episode. It comes out with timestamp timestamps that I can know where there's certain things that was said.
mhm.
It comes out with quotes that I can use. It's so many things that have helped my podcast in so many different ways. And I just try to learn as much as possible. I try to find when I find something that interests me, I just make sure I dive into it and learn more about it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As see, this is a cycle that happens every time a new technology is introduced. Starting like let's even go back when the car was introduced, right? A lot of people were worried because everybody used to travel in horse carts, so they were worried. Oh, what is going to happen to the horse cart industry? Who's going to like who's going to take care of the horses, who's going to clean up the streets, or who's going to repair the horse carts. Then the internet came along, and many people in the audience may remember there was a scare about Y2K in the year 2000. That if Y2K happens, the whole life will come to a halt. We won't have any groceries in the grocery store. So this fear of the unknown is always there as his human nature. But also, as you said, we also are reluctant to learn new things because our life is going fine, and all of a sudden new things shows up, and it's like, okay, now I have to learn something new, right? So it's an inconvenience. But as you said, people who are open to learning new technologies, they take advantage of it, they get better at it, and eventually they get so much benefit that other people start to notice that, and they say, oh, I better learn this, otherwise I will fall behind, right? I will give you a small example. In 1993, I got my first experience of getting onto the internet and using email and things like that, right? Now, I was in the technology industry, so 1993 was relatively early. But just 5 years later, 1998, I remember I was applying for my first job. In 5 years, if I did not have an email address, I could not even apply for an entry level job, right? So it changed that much in 5 years. It's the same cycle with technology. Imagine smartphones came out in 2007, and nobody, like only few people used it earlier on. But 3-4 years later, if you didn't have a smartphone, you were like disconnected from the world, right? So it's the same cycle that happens every time.
Okay. All right. So you have a you have a deep understanding of human psychology and neuroscience. How does this knowledge enhance your approach to technology and business?
See, technology and business are so intertwined these days that even the most powerful elections are affected by AI and technology. So, anybody can use platforms like Facebook or Twitter to 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 affect people's opinions and sway them. If a person is politically independent, they can sway them to the right or the left by just using technology and sharing their ideas and utilizing AI, right? So we have seen that effect everywhere. The idea is that uh, technology exists to solve business problems, to solve real world problems. And so once you understand psychology, once you understand neuroscience, and you understand, okay, if I create a screen which has one button, how will it impact the user? If you go to Google home screen, there is one text box and one button. That's it, right? So there is a psychological relationship between simplicity and how people use that product. If you use your iPhone, it's very simple to use. It's all because they understand what is the psychology of the person using that device. So even if you give iPhone to a 10-year-old kid, he or she will like sort of fumble around with it, but within 10 minutes they will figure out, oh, I need to tap on this button and something happens, and blah blah blah. So once you understand these fine reactions that our human mind has, then you build technology for the people. It is much more effective, much more efficient, much more pleasant to use, and it generates a lot more profit and revenue. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so also in your journey and you've overcome a lot of challenges in your life and in your journey. One of them being you met your wife at the school that you attended and everything, and your family didn't really approve of the marriage. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Yeah. So basically, again, this is related to how society is in India. we belong to different religions. Okay, and the first hurdle in India is that generally people don't um, approve of you finding your own mate. Generally, people get married by the choice of the family. It's an arranged marriage. So if you go on dates, or you try to find your own mate, you're already like going against the grain. That's a little bit disrespectful to the family and the traditions and whatnot. Secondly, even if you marry, you're supposed to marry within your religion and all that. So if you don't do that, again, you're going an extra mile to go against the grain. So that was the reason why my family was against that, because we belong to different religions. But the idea is that you know I was a rebel, maybe earlier on, so um, it fueled my passion to 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 do what I wanted to do with my life, even at a young age. Because as you know, when you're younger, when you're prohibited from doing something, you tend to try and do it more, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened. But it was for because once you find your true love, you don't want to let go of that person just because society says it's not the right thing. Now, granted, we are no longer together. We got divorced, but that was the process I had to go through. But also, it taught me a lot of lessons about life. You have to follow your heart. You have to do what you think is right for your life, rather than listening to people's opinions, which may or may not be the right opinion for you at that time.
Okay. Yeah. I can't imagine what it is to having my marriage arranged and all that. And I know it's customary over there. That's something we watching a lot of movies about India and stuff. But it, I know it must have been hard, because me personally, I'm very close to my family, and I don't know how I would have been able to deal with a situation where they didn't approve of my wife and I had to
Yeah.
distance myself from them. That would have really been devastating for me, because, like I said, I'm very close to my family. Um, how has that molded you today? Because, like you said, you're no longer together, but I'm sure that experience has helped mold you into what you are today.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Um, um, Separating and distancing myself from the family was very, very, very painful, right? But then separating myself from my ex-wife, for whom, or not for whom, but basically the marriage is the reason why I distanced myself from my family. So that was even more difficult. But each time you go through that and you come out on the other side, you become stronger, and you say, okay, I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. And I used to think I need other people to support me, but even if I don't have that, I'm okay. So it builds that confidence in yourself to keep doing what you do and keep following your heart, because new people show up. If you Whenever you make space, and other the people in your life are no longer there, or they move on, it makes space for new people to show up, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you learn what kind of people do you want in life. So when new people show up, rather than just accepting them and saying, okay, come into my life, you are very, very selective and say, okay, last time I learned this lesson. I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody like this. I don't want to be talking to somebody like this. So you start to get smarter and more self-dependent on yourself.
Okay. All right. Next question. Let's see. So you've also created certain patterns in AI, and what what are the significance? What are their significance in today's tech driven world?
See, my patents were, a couple of them I already shared with you. They were in education. A
Mhm.
couple of them were in healthcare. What is the impact of that is that, as so I have a consulting company, technology consulting company. We provide AI solutions, and what we try to do is we try to focus on technologies which has direct impact on daily lives of people. So not for like very select few people, but healthcare applies to everyone, education applies to everyone. So those are the kind of projects we focus on because it helps us make a bigger and bigger impact. So uh, when we did work for education and healthcare, we ended up making an impact on about 10 million lives. And so that has been a really rewarding exercise to to do it this way.
Okay. All right. Awesome. Awesome. So also, okay. So what inspired you to establish yourself as a business mentor, and what fulfillment do you derive from guiding and inspiring entrepreneurs?
See, I have gone through so many ups and downs, starting from nothing and being here in this position as a thought leader in AI and working with some of the biggest names in the world, helping generate hundreds of millions of dollars, making an impact on millions of lives. So I've learned a few things about technology, about humans, about how to run businesses, grow businesses. And so the idea is that I'm an introvert. I was definitely not set up for success. I'm a sort of the model underdog story. So all these insights that help me, I want to share it with the world. I want to share it with the people who can use it. And so that is the idea behind mentorship, to say, okay, if somebody wants to make rapid progress and they want to fulfill their dreams, they don't know where to go, or maybe they're taking too much time, too much effort, they're making too many mistakes. If I can show them the path, they will get there faster. So why not do that, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. That's I know when I first started podcasting, I didn't know many people who podcast. So a lot of the research I did myself and a lot of things I've learned was me wanting to improve and wanting to learn. And so I dived into it and once I started diving into it, the mentors started appearing. People that knew what to do started appearing in my life and help guide me along the way. And so I'm eternally grateful for that because but it was it was the shift in my mindset that where I wanted to learn and grow. So that was the energy I was
Exactly.
putting out there. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
that's what I received. I received people willing to mentor me, willing to show me the way. And so now when I meet up and coming podcasters or people interested in podcasting, I take my time. I take time out and to help them because I know what I went through when I first started and the struggles that I went through, and I don't want people to go through that. So that's one thing I'm working on a course on helping people start a podcast and everything. Shout out to my man Jude who's in the chat right now. Um, it's
Mm.
just something inside of me that says, listen, this is something that you're pretty good at doing it. You're self-taught, you learn a lot, and the way you teach it is simple. It's not so it's not hard. I simplify it for people, just like how you simplify how people use AI and try to teach them how to use. For me, I try to keep it simple to podcasting, like how what shows, what niche, and all that comes down to you really finding yourself and really looking at what is it that you want to deliver as far as what your podcast is and what content you put out.
Exactly, exactly. I think you used one phrase which I'll really pick on as in like highlight, because that is exactly what happens. You said you are putting out that energy that you want to learn,
Mhm.
and that energy is picked up by other people who want to, who are in the same energy field, who have passion for what you do. So I think That is the essence of everything. You put out that energy consistently, you keep doing the work, and the right people start to join you.
Yeah, it is. It is crazy how once I shifted where I wanted to go with my podcast. Because when I first started, it was just me. I was furloughed from work. I was a little bit frustrated, and I enjoyed creating the podcast. I just wasn't enjoying the content because at that time it was just me ranting about work and ranting about what was going on in the news and media and all that stuff. And I just found it to be very negative. And so when I focused more on an interview based podcast and focused more on self development and having people come on tell their stories and people talk about growth and mindset and all this, that's when I really truly fell in love with the podcast. It was doing that because it was impacting people's lives. And just like you
Absolutely.
said, you're here to help impact people's lives. That's what I'm trying to do with my podcast. And
Exactly.
if I help one person, two people, three, whatever amount of people I help, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to provide content can touch that can touch people's lives.
Exactly. Exactly.
So with your vast experience, what are the critical skills or qualities that aspiring entrepreneurs should cultivate to succeed in the startup ecosystem?
Um, can you repeat that question? Entrepreneur, get started
Okay,
in which?
so with your vast experience, what are the critical skills or qualities that aspiring entrepreneurs should cultivate to succeed in the startup
Okay.
ecosystem?
See, the first thing is communication, because most people don't know how to communicate with others, and every cent and dollar, every ounce of success we get is by communicating with other people. Okay, most startup founders, they hide behind a logo, they hide behind their product, and they are not able to communicate and connect with people. So that's number one thing. um, Even if you don't have a product, even if you don't have a strategy, the only way you will get there is by talking to people. So that's one. Second thing is networking skills, which is very much similar, but a little bit, where are you going to find those people to communicate with? That's networking. The third thing I will say is self-awareness, because in the game of entrepreneurship you will find a lot of rejection, and 90% of the time, so let's say you talk to 100 people, 90% of the time you'll get rejected, 10% of the time you'll get positive feedback. So if you're not self-aware about your own value, your own worth, that rejection is going to be devastating to people, and they will give up. So that self-awareness, that faith in their own value is very, very important. And so these are the three main things I will say that most other people don't talk about. The rest is same, like, you must have a strategy, you must have, like, financial sort of knowledge, how to create products, how to lead. All of that stuff is common between what other people say, but I find, like, most people miss these three main things that I've seen in most successful people, not in unsuccessful people.
Yeah, no, it is communication is very important in what you do, because you got to be able to let your potential clients or customers let them get to really truly know you and see who you are as a person and as a brand and as a business. Um,
Mhm.
so when 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 building these relationships, because I agree with you, networking is very big. That's something I've learned in the podcasting industry, is that I must attend these events where there's like-minded people, where there's fellow podcasters that have experienced the things that I've experienced or know a little bit more than what I know of.
Mhm.
These are the events that I love to attend because it helps me grow. It helps me grow spiritually, um, mentally. It helps me grow in so many different ways because I'm surrounded when I go to these events. I am surrounding myself with that energy, with that like-minded energy of people who know what I've experienced as a podcaster, who've who've gone up through the ups and downs and come out on the other side of it. These are the people that I want to surround myself with because they are where I want to be at. So when you do these networking events and you get to connect with people that are doing what you want to do and are doing it at a great level, it's those experiences that really motivate me and inspire me because I spoke to this person and I see how down to earth they are and how much of a regular person they are. They're just like me. The only difference is they're doing this. They're being a little bit more consistent, or they're doing something else. And me seeing that is like, okay, all right, this is where I need work at. These are the things I need work at, and being able to connect with these people and learn from them. It's to me, it's a blessing, man. It's really truly is a blessing to be able to sit down with people who are doing what I really truly want to do.
Exactly, exactly. I completely agree with you.
Okay, so how do you balance your roles as a tech expert, business mentor, and a family man? And what advice do you have in achieving a harmonious work-life balance?
See, the very first thing is that I don't think there is anything called a work-life balance. I think um, people should design their work around their passion and their family. So, what do I mean by that? If family is important, then I mean, family is very important to me, and obviously, as you said, it's very important to you. So there are ways you can build your work uh, around that passion in such a way that you get more time with family. What happens is that people run after other people's priorities. Like, let's say I'm passionate about family, but I look at my neighbor and I say, oh, my neighbor works 80 hours a week and he's always traveling. He's not available for his family, but he's rich and he's enjoying his life. So let me do the same thing as him. Now I'm disconnecting myself from my passion and following somebody else's path, and then I start to experience an imbalance in my life, right? So if I prioritize my life correctly, I can say, okay, work is important to me, but family is the highest thing for me. So how I can design my life, even if I don't make as much money, but I will get the true wealth which I'm seeking, which is
Mhm.
family. And family is just a word from what my passion is. It could be traveling, it could be painting, it could be music, whatever that is. um, First, people need to realize what they want, and this is what I was saying about the third aspect of what entrepreneurs must have: self-awareness. What is it that you want in life? That people are not clear on. Once you get clear on that, then you design your life and business around that, and then you are never working or always working, because even when you're working, you're enjoying what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Because to me, when I record, it's not work to me. Even though I know when I first started, I had to do all this editing and all this other stuff, but it wasn't work. It was I love doing the podcast. I love all the aspects of it, and it was just it still is. It's still something that I've been doing it what 3.5 years now, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon because I love doing this. It's not work to me. I'm just being able to sit down and record my show 3 times a week, and just the conversations that I get to have and the people I get to learn from. I love that. I'm excited for what's to come. I'm excited for what my path is and my journey, and I'm looking forward to all the other wonderful interviews that I'll be doing in the next few months because it's really amazing. Like I'm right now, I'm booked through December as far as
Mm.
my guests.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
booked almost all through December, and
Yeah, yeah.
and I remember when I first started, it was difficult for me to find guests.
Ah,
It was issues. It was issues with
mm,
finding guests. People would be like,
of course, of course, of course.
they were like, "Oh, what are your numbers? Oh, how many down?" And I'm like, I'm just starting out. I was green. I didn't know much, but with
Mm-hmm.
time, I improved. My mic skills improved. My quality just improved because I was being consistent with it. I was really working hard
Mm-hmm.
at wanting to improve and
Yeah,
wanting
yeah,
to make
yeah.
sure that I provided quality sound and video to people who were tuning in. To me, that was very important because
Yeah, yeah.
time is very precious, and people who started tuning in and listening and watching the video, I just wanted to make sure that their time was well spent in what I was giving them.
Exactly, exactly.
So, Manuj, it's been wonderful talking to you, man. This has been a great experience. But now you get the solo screen. You get to plug away, let everybody know where they can find your website, where your programs, everything.
Yeah, I mean, AI is a huge opportunity. In fact, the CEO of IBM has said that AI is going to add about $10 trillion to the world economy, and that's more than 10% of the current annual GDP, meaning everything that is produced in the world. So it's a huge, massive opportunity. I don't want people to miss out. If you want to do something with AI, if you want to leverage it in your business, then contact me. Go to my website, manujaggarwal.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn and let me know what exactly are your plans with AI and how my team can help you, because we are making some really, really interesting products and technologies, and we are helping a lot of businesses accelerate. So if you are one of them, let us know. Reach out.
All right, everybody. So yes, definitely reach out. Check out his website if you're interested in AI. I know a lot of my fellow podcasters are a little bit skeptical still about AI. They're afraid of how people misuse AI. Um, but yes, definitely check him out. Check out his website. If you have any questions, send them a message. Find out what him and his team can do to provide you guys out there with how to implement the AI into your business or AI into whatever it is that you're doing. So thank you, Manuj, for appearing on the show, man. I greatly appreciate it. This has been wonderful. Don't leave yet. We're gonna chat a little bit off the air. I'm just gonna close the show out right quick. But I also want to give you a shout out, man. I love that light in the background, man. That
Thanks.
light back there with all the different colors. I'm just looking at. I'm amazed at the. I'm like, oh man, that's cool. I think I want to get one of those lights.
Yours
So,
is pretty cool too. You have a pretty cool light in the background.
oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I wanted to add some kind of little
Yeah,
difference to the
yeah,
back, but I
yeah,
like
yeah.
how your light is just changing colors and it's accenting the picture so well. So I just wanted to give you that props on that too, man. That was
Thank you
cool.
so much.
That's
Thank
cool
you.
back
Thank
there. But all right, don't leave just yet. We're gonna chat a little off air, but let me just close out the show. All right. Great show, guys. Thanks to everybody in the chat. What's up, Tony? Thank you for coming by and showing love. I greatly appreciate it, brother. It's always a pleasure to see you. What's up? I don't know who Facebook user is, but thank you for the comment. Greatly appreciate it. This is my man Jude. What's going on, Jude? Jude is actually helping me with my course, so that will be coming out soon. So shout out to Jude. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the BS3 Network, which we air every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central Time. Big shout out to the boss lady. I greatly and appreciate you, baby. Thank for once again, happy 50th birthday to you. Love you. Um, big shout out to my guest, Manuj, for coming through and sharing his story and talking about something he loved, AI, which I'm truly falling in love with right now as well. And as always, a big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.